My name is Chris Beatty. I'm the creative director for the project. I've been on it for 3 years, from the very inception of the idea of what would we do if we came back to the Magic Kingdom and added on to Fantasyland. We are doubling the size of Fantasyland. I know we've said that, and you've probably heard that, but it is true. I think when we step behind the wall here in a few minutes, you'll really get a sense of the scale of this project. So not only is it the scale of it that's impressive, I think you'll also see the detail that's going into this project. Layer after layer of storytelling. I think, I always like to say, as the decades went by, we added Parkside, Epcot, and the studios, and finally Animal Kingdom. We got a little more sophisticated in that layer of story, in the detail of the storytelling within the hardscape. I mean, here's a good example of just, the detail of the footprints in the circus and the peanuts. It's that level of quality and detail that you'll see coming to life here at the Magic Kingdom. Parkside Animal Kingdom was a great example of where we really took that next step as far as immersive storytelling. So it's exciting to get that type of detail in this park. Great examples I'll share with you in a few minutes when we go behind the wall. But you'll find yourself here today. This is Storybook Circus. The overall concept is that once we step through the marquee, it's not here yet, there will be an entrance marquee to the land arriving sometime. But once we step through that marquee, you enter into Carolwood Park. Carolwood Park, I'm sure most of you know the history behind the world of Carolwood. Carolwood Park, or Carolwood Pacific, was their train line. It was in Walt's backyard. It was his toy train. So a little tip of the hat for Walt and his love of trains here. You'll see little hidden moments throughout the whole land that have a Carolwood history to them. But we step into Carolwood Park. It's a little park on the edge of a little town, right on the edge of the train line. The story is Casey has come to town right off the Walt Disney World line. He stopped here at the train station in the Roundhouse, and he's unloaded his fabulous circus. Dumbo, of course, is the star of the circus. So you can see Dumbo beautifully gilded in all of its detail. At the top of the spinner, you'll see the storks are bringing little Dumbos to Mrs. Jumbo. Below is Mrs. Jumbo lovingly looking at all of her son flying around the circus. And then, of course, just the detail and ornamentation that went into this is fantastic. This was really, truly a lot of fun to design. It's not every day we get to design a Dumbo attraction or a ride. If you really look closely, a lot of hidden detail. The strollers are actually elephant trunks that are holding little peanuts and feathers. From a distance, it looks like traditional ornamentation you would find in a circus, but we really tried to take it to the next level as far as the layer of storytelling. And then my favorite part of this attraction are the bottom 8 illustrations that we had commissioned. Each panel tells a moment from the Dumbo film in its entirety. So they're really beautiful. You get a chance to come back by and take a look. They're very exquisitely done. So this is Dumbo. Like I said, he is the star of the show. We're going to go down in a minute and look at Barnstormer. And the story of the circus, and if you've been to a circus, there's always the star of the show gets all the attention. Well, there's always sort of the B-acts, right? The side shows and the stunt men and the people who kind of glom onto a circus, right? Well, Goofy is that person. Goofy is the great Goofini. He's a stunt man. When we go down here, you'll see he does all kinds of acts. But the act you get to participate with him in today, or the stunt, is the Barnstormer, the aerial acrobatics. And as you get aboard the plane and take off your disguise with Goofy. And then the final piece we're going to look at down at the very end here is the Fantasyland train station. It is a true working train station. It's a new platform for the Walt Disney World Railroad. The train does make a stop here, but if you look at the detailing in the storytelling in the paving, we added spur lines that come off the Walt Disney World line, and it looks like Casey can just flip a switch, and he can roll right into the round table, unload the circus, and when he's done, they'll pack it all back up, we'll switch the line, reconnect, and he goes back off to the next little town. And then finally, the restroom. What do you think restrooms? Not that great about restrooms? Oh, I have to say there is. These restrooms are really special because they look like the roundhouse and the backdrop for Casey. And even inside the restrooms, we laid tile that looked like tracks. Like the old guys probably pulled the rail out and patched them up, as they worked on the trains through the years. So we really tried to extend the storytelling even to places like the restroom stalls. As crazy as that sounds, they're a lot of fun. So let's go down and look at Barnstormer. I'll show you a couple details on Barnstormer and explain a little bit more. The great Goofini, like I said, he is the stunt man of the circus. He does all kinds of acts. He does a ski jumping act here where he maybe jumps over sharks. He juggles tigers as he crosses Niagara Falls on a unicycle. As you look up the queue, you'll see that he has a cannon gag where he's the human cannonball, and you can see the cannon in the queue with his little fuse lit. And it looks like he shot himself across the queue line over into the planter and went through the target. He even straps himself to a rocket in one gag, and the rocket's crashed up there with steam coming out. So, like I said, these are all the stunts that he normally performs, but today, and today only, you get to be part of the Barnstormer. And of course, in pure goofy fashion, he's not the greatest pilot in the world. So he's running through the billboard, he's running through the lift tower. A lot of fun for our smaller guests. This is a great entry-level coaster and family coaster. So we're very, very excited to have the Barnstormer as part of that storytelling. If you look to your left, you'll see the Fantasyland station. If you look at the clock face, you'll see the Carolwood Park logo. That was actually Walt's logo from his station area and from his railroad line. We modified it a little bit, but once again, it's a great tip of the hat to Walt and his love of trains. So that's the brand new train station down here at the bottom. And then of course on the left here is the 1930s, 1940s sort of era roundhouse, where it looks like the trains would back into. And like I mentioned, if you walk around, you'll see that all the train tracks are in and all the brick inlay. This will all make sense when we open this next section of the circus, which is the Casey Jr. area later sometime this year. Okay? Alright, now for the fun part. You've seen the stuff that's open. Let's walk up and we'll get to go behind the wall and look at the things that we haven't really shared with people yet. The castle wall you can see starting to erected here on our left. Very important for storytelling. Why? Well, the castle wall really divides two parts of Fantasyland. The older part, which is really the courtyard. In the courtyard, we want to celebrate that sort of Renaissance fair, banners, bunting, a lot of color, it's jewel toned, it's very classic, right? Fantasyland. So that area will stay intact, and as you step through the forest, just like in a lot of our classic films, the storytelling of the princess running off into the woods and finding Prince Charming, or the encountering the villain, that is sort of what will happen here. So as we step through the castle wall, a distinct change in the character of what this land is. You'll see where the tone of the land changes a lot with the paint palette. It's rustic, it's foresty, it's overgrown. Even the castle wall, one side will be detailed a little bit more than the other. This side of the wall is a little bit more overtaken by the forest. The vegetation changes. It's more sticky and pointed, and it's haphazard in how it grows. One of our big goals of the expansion is guest comfort. You'll hear me say that. If the more interviews you hear me give, the more you'll hear me say it. It was a big goal of ours. A place for our guests just to come in, and if they wanted to come into a forest setting, just sit down underneath a great big old oak tree, we're going to give you the opportunity. Tons of water. You'll see big waterfalls. There are 5 waterfalls on the face of Mermaid that haven't been turned on yet. It will completely transform the face of that facade when we're done. So here in the center, getting back to the plan, you can see this is the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. A brand new, very unique coaster experience. It's a terrain following coaster. So you'll go in here, load in, right here where you see matter of fact, you can see the brown steel is track steel, the gray steel is facility steel. So that gives you an idea of the height of this mountain that's coming. It sits right here. You'll go into the queue, which is themed like the dwarves' little loading area where they prep for their tools in the morning. Board the coaster, it will drop out, run around the far side over by Storybook Circus, climb up this mountain on the outside, and then drop out and run around again. Then it will go into a show box where it turns into a traditional Disney dark ride. Goes in through show scenes with all the dwarves. You'll see them there mining with all the jewels and the magic. It will climb up the inside lift, which is the brown steel you see here, and then run out around Fantasyland for a second time. The unique thing about this coaster is it also swings. So each individual car swings as it turns a corner. That will be one of our signature attractions. The other one here's behind it. Of course, this is the facade of Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid. You can see Prince Eric's castle right there. As we were walking up, someone said, wow, when the mountain comes up, you'll never be able to see the castle. And I said, that's exactly what we want. We want that moment when you come through the castle wall, a sense of discovery as you walk through the land. What I don't like about some theme park design is as you walk through a land, everything is shown to you. There is no sense, I turn a corner and it's revealed to me. There's no sense of suspense or discovery to it. So we're working hard on, as I walk up that main path, and you see the bridge forming here, I turn that corner and Prince Eric's castle is revealed. As I walk through the castle wall, the mine coaster, the mountain is revealed. As I turn that corner by Prince Eric's, I look down, Dumbo is revealed. So there's some great sight lines I think you'll start to see as we start to take walls down and open this area up. Of course, this attraction will let us enter into the grottos. We'll go behind these great waterfalls. 3 giant falls on the left, 2 falls on the right. We'll go behind the falls into the grotto through some incredibly detailed queue experiences. I have to say the queues for these experiences, I would go on a limb and say it rivals Indiana Jones at Disneyland. The level of quality, storytelling, and light fixtures and rock work, and the Imagineers have done an amazing job of really trying to, to make the entire experience well-rounded and very experiential. But you'll find yourself then boarding our little clamshell vehicles that will take us on this undersea journey to visit Ariel, Ursula, Flounder, Sebastian. It is a co-developed attraction once you're on the ride with DCA, with Disney's California Adventure, but the whole storytelling and the placemaking is completely different. To the left is, as you can see, Gaston's Tavern and Bonjour Village Gifts here on the left. Bonjour Tavern, no, it does not serve alcohol as much as a lot of us would like, but it is going to be a great place for you to go inside, completely decked out in antlers. Everything is made of antlers, things you never dreamed of will be in there made of antlers. Great portrait of Gaston on the wall, being very conceited and arrogant, his fireplace. But it is a great place to go and get out of that hot Florida sun, have a great cold, refreshing beverage, and then just the little bookshop or Bonjour Village Gifts off to the right. It's sort of a little tip of the hat back to the bookshop from the beginning of the film. And that'll be a little merchandise location. To the left, and it's probably one of the most spectacular spaces within the expansion, is the Be Our Guest restaurant. You can see the Beast Castle up here on top of the rocks. The rock work here even tells a story. This rock work that you'll see starting to form for the mine coaster is very soft. It's older rock. It's like the Appalachian Mountains, right? It's been around a long time. It takes on the personality of the dwarves, rounded, soft, fun, right? When you get to the Beast Castle, that rock work is sharp. It's jagged. It's not Belle's Castle, it's the Beast Castle. It almost wants you to think twice about crossing that bridge and going into it, right? It's foreboding. If you touch it, it'll almost cut you. So there's storytelling within the rock work. We go to that length of detail and storytelling. Inside, 3 rooms that you can dine in. The ballroom, and it looks just like out of the film. I think you guys will be blown away when you finally get to go inside. John Lasseter was just through a few weeks ago, and it was great to see his expression when he walked in the room. So it's been great to see our senior leaders come through and get to witness what that magic moment of stepping through that threshold and the awe. It looks just like out of the film with the chandeliers in the ceiling. 2 other rooms, you can dine in the West Wing, which is where the Rose effect was. It was sort of the forbidden room that you were not allowed to go into, the Beast Quarters. And there's an art gallery space that's also located there you can dine in. And then finally here on the left, this is Maurice's Cottage here. You can see it starting to take shape. We're starting to put the final finishes on the outside of that facade. That is the entrance to what we're calling our Storybook Adventure, Enchanted Tales with Belle. We really wanted to take meeting a character or meeting one of our princesses to the next level. No longer just waiting in a long line for the autograph and picture, which is great. How would we make you feel like you've been in that experience for half an hour, 15, 20 minutes? How do we extend that and make it more personalized? So in this experience, you get to go into the cottage. You'll find yourself, face to face with Lumiere and Belle. All these characters come to life as you get to have a very immersive moment with them. So that's Enchanted Tales with Belle here on the left.